Hey, how come we don't have anybody here today? What is there, 3 million people here?
Yeah, no race fans. I don't know where they did. They didn't show up.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to NASCAR Race Day, built by the Home Depot. I'm John Roberts, alongside of driver the number 28 Chevrolet in the Nationwide Series, Kenna Wallace, and filling in for Jimmy Spencer today, Kyle Petty, TNT broadcaster, race car driver, and winner at this racetrack back in '95.
Forever ago, but I'm happy to be here, man. This has been fun. Watching you work the crowd, watching Kenny do the hat dance, this has been fun, man. I've enjoyed this.
And how about this crowd?
I cannot believe the crowd. All you read in the paper is how bad the economy is, where the racing is, all this stuff. And what do we got? The whole state of Delaware shows up, or what?
At least a good part of it.
I don't know.
Hey, but listen, race fans, tune into me. Look at my face. This is the biggest week in the history of NASCAR. Do you know why? Because you fans throughout the United States have finally got what you want. Dale Earnhardt Jr. has a new crew chief. Is this what this sport has come to? I mean, this is a monumental week. I don't know if I would want to be Dale Earnhardt Jr. this week, but my guy, they've been talking about you for 2 years, Kyle.
Everybody's been talking about it, but, you know, finally, you know, I don't think I've ever seen the fans complain about what was going on. We heard it a couple of years, or last year with Jeff Gordon and Steve Letarte. You know, they need to replace Stevie. They need to replace Stevie. Never happened. Now you see Hendricks, same kind of uprising from the fans, and all of a sudden, these guys crushed to the pressure a little bit, man.
All right, pressure is the name of the game here at Dover because it's a tough racetrack to race on, but we also have a lot of news going on behind the scenes, and for that, let's now bring in Wendy Venturini. Wendy, good morning.
Good morning, gentlemen. A lovely day in Dover. We had some rain this morning, but it's cleared out nice and sunny and no more rain expected, and that is good news. Now, we'll tell you what happened this week after the Coca-Cola 600. NASCAR did hold their town hall meeting of sorts, that mandatory meeting for the drivers, car owners, and crew chiefs. That was Tuesday at the R&D Center. We do have details of what was discussed. You'll see it later on in NASCAR Race Day. We'll also hear from Robin Pemberton about that meeting that they had on Tuesday and some of the feedback that they got from the drivers. Now, also in the news, Jeremy Mayfield, he filed a lawsuit earlier this week in Charlotte. His request was denied by the court system in in Mecklenburg County, and that was to get Jeremy Mayfield back at the racetrack and back in a race car. And that request has been denied. We're following the court order of that in the future and keep you posted on what happens between NASCAR and Jeremy Mayfield and that lawsuit. And the third thing in the news, quite possibly the biggest thing this week, of course, Dale Earnhardt Jr. gets a new crew chief. Tony Eury Jr. has stepped into the R&D role with the research and development at Hendrick Motorsports. Taking over this week will be Brian Weitzel, serving as crew chief in Dover. However, the formal crew chief will be Lance McGrew starting next week in Pocono, and Lance is here this weekend. Of course, he was supposed to be helping Brad Keselowski, but is now, since Brad did not make the Cup race, will be helping with the 88 today. Lots of things going on. We need to check in and see what Dale Earnhardt Jr. and the rest of them had to say about the happening this weekend.
Isn't one thing you can put your finger on as to why it didn't work. I'm not hiding any blame from anyone. You know, I take full responsibility for making some mistakes along the way, especially this year. We haven't been on our game. I would say I definitely haven't been on my game. I shoulder any amount of responsibility that's necessary and that everybody feels is fair. And for the fact that we didn't make this work.
The equipment's there. Everything that we needed is in place. There's no substantial differences in how the 88 is being run versus the other teams. So yes, I do feel, personalities and the fact of them being, family may have been a factor, but it was just time to do something different, and now was the time to do it.
It's kind of like when you start on a jigsaw puzzle and you look and look and look for that last couple little pieces, and then somebody just walks over your shoulder and just clicks in 3 things, and you go, I've been sitting here for just, sometimes you can be too close to things and you need a different perspective, and hopefully that's the case here.
Well, I will tell you, Lance McGrew right over my shoulder going through the tech inspection line with the 88 crew, and it sounds like he'll be on that pit box today trying to get started to get in that role for next week full-time as a crew chief for Dale Earnhardt Jr. But a lot of media attention around the 88. We all know NASCAR is a family sport. It extends right here into the Cup Garage. You heard Brian Weitzel say it could be because Dale Earnhardt Jr. and Tony Eury Jr. were family. You guys never know. You guys have a lot of opinions on this. What are your thoughts of what's happening around the 88?
Wendy, thanks a lot. You know, possibly the toughest job in all of motorsports is being Dale Earnhardt Jr.'s crew chief because of his popularity. But do we expect a light switch to come on? Is it fair? Is it, you know, is it not too much to put on one guy's shoulder to expect this big light switch to come on as soon as he gets in the crew chief role?
Well, first of all, this is too much for any man to burden. This is possibly one of the biggest burdens I've ever seen. Maybe Lisa Marie Presley, you know, John F. Kennedy Jr. I mean, this is out of hand. But I must say this. Kyle Petty has said this years ago. I'll use a quote he used about 10 years ago. All race car drivers and crew chief relationships, 98% of the time, last 3 years. There's only a handful. Let's maybe Zippy and Tony, maybe Jimmy Johnson, Chad Knaus. But even think, the 4-time champion, Jeff Gordon, has had several crew chiefs. I just think that, yes, a change was needed, but we have to factor in the burden put on this one man. To me, has been incredible, Kyle.
Yeah, and I think the thing now is, you know, if I go back 15 or 20 years, drivers changed every 2 or 3 years. Teams didn't stay, but drivers changed every 2 or 3 years. Now the thing is, there's so much money tied up in a driver that the crew chief has to change. So they look to the crew chiefs. The difference here is Tony Eury Jr. is family. When you look at Richard Petty and Dale Earnhardt, family. When you look at Bill Elliott and his brother Ernie, family. And when you look at it like that, those guys were together for a long period of time because they worked through those family problems. For whatever reason, Tony and Junior just lost that communication, and that happens sometimes.
What do you expect out of this thing, guys? What do you expect? Big changes?
Well, I expect Dale Jr. First of all, Dale. Listen, I can't speak for Dale Jr. I take a ribbon every once in a while that I say Junior's my friend. I'm not protecting him, but first of all, let's let Junior heal a little bit. He's going to be in that race car today. I mean, there's so much on him. Let's just get him a good top 20 finish. Get out of here. Let's let this wound heal a little bit. Let him have some time to get his relationship built, because I can't imagine. I don't even know how he can drive the race car today.
I don't expect any change.
Yeah, now there's no question that there's been a lot of talk about this subject throughout the garage, and on Friday, Kyle Busch weighed in on what he thought about Dale Earnhardt Jr. and his new crew chief, Lance McGrew.
You got to make the most popular driver in the sport competitive, so you got to do what you got to do, I guess. Junior doesn't run well, then he's going to be the problem again. So, you know, it's never Junior, it's always the crew chief.
So after making that statement, Kyle Busch joins us in the next segment on NASCAR Race Day. But right now, we want to get more on what's going on where the rubber hits the road on the racetrack. Let's now go to Hermie Sadler.
Well, thank you, JR, and I'm standing in pit stall 43. That's right, 43. For the first time ever, we've got 43 pit stalls at Dover. This pit stall was chosen by Jimmy Johnson, Chad Knaus in years past. Only 42 pit stalls, 2 teams had to share. Not good for either one. But that's not all the improvements that the racetrack made to pit road. Each pit stall is 4 feet longer to give the teams more room to get their service done, get back on pit lane. Look at the nice entrance coming off the racetrack. A big, wide, smooth entrance should make for safer entrances to pit road. But maybe the biggest change as far as safety is concerned, pit road is now 4 feet wider. We've seen in years past, time and time again, drivers getting in trouble, leaving their pit box, either getting damaged or getting pinched off and having to get out of the gas and lose positions. Well, the extra 4 feet should help with that. Now, yesterday, the Camping World Truck Series and the Nationwide Series had the first test of this new pit road, and the best news is that there was no news as far as drama on pit road. We hope for the same thing today. Let's sell it on the racetrack, JR, not on pit road.
Hermie, thanks a lot. And guys, you've driven this track for many, many years. It's tough before. Is it that much better now?
It's a lot better. They took away 3 or 4 foot of the racetrack that nobody was using except for crashing. That's the only time you got down there, was when you ran into the wall. The other thing they did, they changed pit wall, and if you look at pictures of the old pit wall had those railings in there, and you get caught in those railings. It was like being eat up by a guardrail. It just sucked your car into the outside. The other thing is you don't have to share a pit. I had to share that pit numerous times, and I could make it up to 20th position, and the guy in front of me would be 19th position. We were sharing pits. I end up 42nd. He ends up 19th again because it penalizes you.
You know, to me, NASCAR is a world-sanctioning body, world class. NASCAR. I mean, the bottom line is this. Every racetrack we should go should have 43 stalls. When we get to Watkins Glen, it would be embarrassing for somebody to share a pit stall in such a world-class organization. So the next one we're going to work on is Watkins Glen. We're coming at you.
All right. But today we got 400 miles on the Monster Mile of Dover International Speedway. When NASCAR Race Day, built by the Home Depot, returns, we'll talk more about Dale Earnhardt Jr. and Kyle Busch will join us. Also, we got the Biff coming by, so stick around.
Kyle took charge last June and tore up the monster on his way to victory lane. We'll take a look back to see how he held off Greg and Carl and took his 4th checkered of 08. Around the turn, NASCAR Race Day, built by the Home Depot.
NASCAR Race Day is built by the Home Depot. Visit homedepot.com. More saving, more doing. That's the power of the Home Depot. Brought to you in part by Advance Auto Parts. Keep the wheels turning. And by NASCAR Banking, only from Bank of America. Your debit card, your credit card, your driver. Learn more at a Bank of America banking center.
Welcome back to Dover, everyone. We got a beautiful day, a great crowd, and a great race in front of us. We've seen some fantastic finishes on this Monster Mile over the past couple of seasons. We expect nothing different today. You know, starting with the Atlanta race last season, Kyle Busch went on a tear. He also won this race. It was his 4th of the season, and it's where Kyle Busch picked up some serious momentum.
This is one of those racetracks we talk about where the driver can make a difference, and a lot of times by just how brave you're willing to shove that car down into the corner.
All we need is nice, smooth stops. 1, 2, 3, 60!
All right, buddy. 400 laps here. We know it's going Testo pace. Get that baby in victory lane up here in DuPont Country.
Green flag, and we are underway in the Best Buy 400 here this afternoon.
Still there, right on your outside.
And Biffle wasting no time in getting the job done.
All over the track, Irwin. Real tight. Not too good. I'm loose getting down in the corner, and loose laid off. All the guys are having trouble. We're going to run 400 laps. That's our first goal. Our second goal is to get us a big finish out of this thing.
This backstretch at Dover, very tight, very narrow, and if somebody gets crossed up in front of you, practically impassable.
Get it slowed down here. Two of them stop right in the middle of the racetrack. Wow, they keep piling in.
Wow, we have got some twisted up iron here today.
Stay in there, man. Still piling in. You all right? God almighty. That was a little exciting flurry there.
Green flag goes back in there. We're back down to racing.
No front, all through where I need to turn. No rear when I need to step on the gas. Rear dent off that 16, but we'll keep working. Just a little tight in the middle right now. That's what's slowing it down a little bit, rolling. You don't have an issue loose off. You're tight in the middle. And now that's the problem.
Greg Biffle, now a 3-4 car length advantage over a battle for second.
Yeah, that's where Carl Edwards is going after Kyle Busch.
And there's trouble for Greg Biffle.
How we doing on the gas? Drag up off the corner. How we doing? Motor's blowing up, guys. Trying to go one more? Come next time. Come next time.
Long gone is Kyle Busch in turn 2.
He is leaving the field long behind him.
Weird, all of a sudden I don't have a lot of front grip. Changed a little bit. How's it going calling that pit road deal? Just stay smooth, hit your mark. Man, it sucks to lap a hometown guy. He knows every inch of this place.
Kyle Busch is very much the leader right now.
He will take the Best Buy 400.
Dover, baby. Good job.
Kyle Busch scores his 4th victory of the 2008 season.
And Kyle Busch takes a bow there. It doesn't seem like it's been a year ago since that win here in Dover, but time flies when you're having fun, Kyle. How much do you enjoy this racetrack? Because you look strong again this weekend.
It's always fun to come to Dover. You know, it's one of those places where you jump into the hole and, you know, you go through the corners so fast here, and then, you know, you come back out of the hole onto the straightaways. And it's a neat racetrack, being concrete and everything, and so, you know, it's fun. And in case nobody's ever noticed, on the back of our car, we've got a new promotion that we've got. You go to realchocolate.com, you can get your free chocolate, but all summer long, Free Chocolate Fridays. Go check it out and see what you can get for some free chocolate.
I'm I'm sure Jimmy Spencer will be checking that out later. Now, the last couple weeks for you, be outside of the Cup Garage, in the nationwide races, the Truck Series races. Man, fans are going to think I'm crazy.
And the Cup races, too.
Well, and the Cup races, but a lot of the nationwide truck, all of it, really. I almost feel sorry for how the things are going because everything falls into place until the very end. How frustrating is that as a driver?
Well, it's pretty frustrating. I mean, it's self-explanatory. When you've got great race cars and have a chance to win every race, you just don't. You don't have anything to show for it. So literally, we've got absolutely nothing to show for anything we've done in the past month, and that's very frustrating. It's not what this team deserves, not what any of my teams deserve, and they got all the guys work so hard to make my stuff drive that well, and when it does and we're that fast, you always want to be able to get a win, and so we've got to try to get out here today and see if we can't turn it around again. If not, just keep on continuing the bad luck.
I can feel your passion come out. I mean, you have the most wins. Your crew chief, Steve Addington, just walked behind your back. How do you guys work together and try to get through these? Because a lot of times, media attention's been on you. You've been in the national media, and you're just trying to work through the tough times, despite having one of the greatest cars.
Well, I mean, the thing that you do is you just try to mind your own business and mind your own P's and Q's out there on the racetrack. And when you do, like yesterday in a nationwide race, that's all I did. I just drove my race car, didn't worry about what everybody else was doing. Drove my own truck, didn't worry about what everybody else was doing. And, we had a little bit of tire concern on the right rear, and then all of a sudden we had a right front blowout. So it's just, it's so disheartening to not ever know what's going to happen next. You just have no idea.
All right, good luck to Kyle Busch, who hopes to turn things around today. Now, he was a winner 1 year ago, but the last time we were here in Dover, the fall race, somebody else took the checkered flag, and that was Greg Biffle. For more on that, Hermie Sadler is with the man, the Biff.
Yeah, I do have the Biff, Wendy, thank you. And you're right, last year here you took that 16 to victory lane. Can you do it again today?
I really think we can. The NextGear Ford Fusion is really good. Final practice, really happy with the race car. The guys have been doing such a great job giving me good equipment. I feel pretty good about today.
Last fall, what a battle you had with your teammates Carl Edwards and Matt Kenseth. Some of the best racing we've seen in quite some time.
Yeah, we have, and that's I think that's part of this new car. This new car has made the car so equal that you see good racing like that. The three of us fighting for the win at Dover. Hopefully it's like that again today. Hopefully I'm out front, but that was nerve-wracking racing with my teammates for that win.
We've been talking a little bit this weekend about rubber building up on the racetrack. Another shower this morning washed all the rubber off the track again. Does that concern you at all?
It does a little bit. We saw when we first showed up here a little bit of tire trouble. Cords showing after about 25, 30 laps, but I think that this racetrack with the sun out is going to take rubber so fast, I don't think tires will be a concern.
Hey, and JR, I know you're buddies with the Biff, and you like to stick with the Biff. Before we came on the air, he said, car's really good, maybe a little bit better than we had here last year, so might want to keep that in mind, but you may pick too far down to get him. I don't know.
That's the problem with picking down on the list, Hermie. You never know who you can get. But you know what? NASCAR Will is talking about throwing a 30-lap competition caution to take a look at the Goodyear tires. When we come back, we're going to start talking about the good, the bad, and the ugly of 2009.
Today is the season's 13th race, which means we've cut to the chase. Halfway to the chase, to be exact. And we'll show you the season's high points so far. Straight ahead, NASCAR Race Day, built by the Home Depot.
Here, all the best scanner on Radioactive Monday on This Week in NASCAR. Will Kyle Busch again lead the most laps but be denied the win? Or maybe the Roush Bunch will turn their season around on the Monster Mile. Hear the emotional team communications on This Week in NASCAR, Monday, 8 Eastern, only on Speed. Now, 2009 has seen some good, some bad, and some ugly. Over the next couple of weeks, we'll break it down for you as to what falls into which category. And we always like to be positive, especially here at the Monster Mile. So let's start out with the good of 2009.
Gentlemen, start your engines.
NASCAR kicks off each season with the biggest race of the year, the Daytona 500. And with a little luck, perfect timing, and some help from the 2007 winner, the 2003 Cup champ went from 39th to 1st.
Matt Kenseth is the 2009 Daytona 500 champion.
The rain-shortened win ended a drought of 36 races without one, and gave owner Jack Roush his first victory at the Great American Race. The next week at California,
the 17 did it again.
Checkered flag, third California win for Kenseth. How about that 17 car?
And how about that 18 car, too?
I am the leader. I am your leader. At 31. Whoop, whoop.
Rowdy's got 3 wins in the first 12 races and is currently 6th on the Sprint Cup leaderboard.
Nobody could put a glove on Kyle Busch.
NASCAR has added 2 first-timers so far to its vast lineage of winners.
For the first time in his NASCAR Sprint Cup career, and I'm sure not the last, Brad Keselowski is in victory lane here at Talladega.
We're all coming. What do you want to do? And I'd say we have to stay out right here.
It's finally official here at the Lowe's Motor Speedway. The Coca-Cola 600 is history, and David Reutimann is the winner.
And welcome back a familiar old-timer to victory lane as well.
Mark Martin, second win of the season, second win at Darlington. Mark Martin wins at Darlington.
That's big. That's big, boys.
Mark Martin is back in full-time competition in victory lane and currently holding on to the last spot in the chase. Jeff Gordon and the Hendrick Juggernaut are back where everyone expects them to be.
Pop the champagne, Jeff Gordon. The losing drought is over. Gordon wins for the first time at Texas Motor Speedway as he takes the checkered flag in the Samsung 500.
Back to back to back for Team Hendrick, whose winning ways show no signs of slowing down.
The Hendrick domination continues at Martinsville Speedway as Jimmy Johnson wins for the 6th time.
Off to a hot start as well is Stewart Haas Racing. Driver-owner Tony Stewart has cast all questions aside about his success with a brand new team.
Tony Stewart has never won an all-star race, and he makes this first victory a very sweet one, his first as a Sprint Cup team owner. He'll win the 25th running of the Sprint All-Star race at Charlotte.
Smoke's second in points, and teammate Ryan Newman is also enjoying success with his new team while residing in 7th. 2009 has seen more than its share of good already. And with plenty of season left, there are many great moments still yet to happen.
Kurt Busch's victory in Atlanta helped him jump up in the points, and it continues to happen. I know the last couple weeks, Kurt, have been tough on you and the 2 team, but really this is the day you could turn things around because anything can happen here at Dover.
Yeah, we hope today's our day. It just seems like if we keep working hard and keep trying to make the right adjustments, that things will eventually come around and go our way. The last few weeks we've been fast, just haven't had the finishes. So it's just a matter of getting out there and doing the job with the Miller Lite Dodge and having good team communication.
It's got to be encouraging for you because we talked about at the beginning of the year, the media was tough on you, your crew chief Pat Trison, but now you have these results that you're showing for it, the win, the top 5s, up in points. It's got to be a little bit more encouraging at this point in the season.
Well, yeah, it's definitely, after the 7th race, 8th race, you look at where you are in points, and at that time we were leading the points. And so for us to go through 3 bad weeks and still be within 120 points of the lead, tells us we're doing things the right way, and it's right there for us to take it. And so we just now need to start to get those results, apply some pressure, and see if we can't get back up on top where we want to be.
Now we've had a strange weekend of racing, 2 races nationwide and Truck Series yesterday. We had some rubber lay down, a big washout this morning. What can we expect when we do go green racing today?
Well, I was disappointed to see the tire issues yesterday and to watch the cars. I was on top of my buddy's motorhome and watching guys blow right front tires. You could hear them blow and then they'd pound the fence. Some guys could anticipate what was happening with their tires, but what we're seeing is the track isn't rubbering up as it normally does here at Dover. The track, the tires are turning more into powder like what we saw at Indianapolis. That gives me an eerie feeling. I don't know what's going to happen today. Cars that are running fast are more susceptible to blowing out right front tires. That was the case with my little brother yesterday. So it's going to be a tough race today. Long 400 miles of not knowing if you can go or not go.
All right, well, hopefully we won't see too many troubles with those tires. Kurt Busch will start 19th.
Wendy, thanks a lot. And as we continue our conversation about the good, the bad, and the ugly of 2009, today we're focusing on the good. And we want to start out by saying one of the best things about this season so far has clearly been what you see behind us today, and that is the race fans around the country. If you read and looked at the internet and watched over the course of the offseason, Everybody was saying find the nearest bridge and jump in the water. There's going to be nobody at Daytona. It was sold out. There's supposed to be nobody at California. They had almost 80,000 people. And every time we come out to a race on Sunday, rain or shine, the place is packed. And that's because NASCAR has the best fans in the world.
Best fans in the world. For me, the good has been this. The good has been something old, something new, and two guys I'd like to borrow some money from. Let me just say that. Okay, Joey Logano has finally living up to some of the hype. Okay, so the last couple of races, I will say that. And I hadn't been a big Joey Logano supporter, but the last couple of races are good. The other thing that's good for me, Mark, by God, Martin. How about that? A guy over 50 years old winning 2 of these races against guys like Kyle Busch, who's already won 2 or 3 races, that's what, 21, 22 years old? And I'm going to throw in my man Matt winning the Daytona 500. That's a good for me.
You know, just for a minute, I'm going to go off script. I like what JR said. You know, race fans, I always say people are negative by nature. I just want to thank all these fans. I want to send a message to all my friends throughout the United States. Let's be positive. These are great times. It's sunny. The stands are packed. Let's try to help out society and be a little bit more positive, because you hear all this doom and gloom. JR, way to go, buddy. Way to pump these people up.
Do we have a script? Do we have a script? You're going off script. I didn't know we had a script.
Hold on.
He's going off a script that doesn't exist.
I didn't get the script.
Oh, okay. I'm going to do what I'm supposed to do. Michael Waltrip Racing.
Yes.
What a good deal. I mean, Michael Waltrip 2-3 years ago says, I'm going to start 2 teams. If that wasn't enough, he starts 3 teams. I mean, wow, that was pretty brave. And David Reutimann, they're calling him the franchise. You know why? Because he is the driver that has stepped up to the plate. He's won some poles. And I'm going to tell you what about Rodney Childers last week at Charlotte? Called an incredible race, put him in victory lane. So Michael Waltrip Racing and all his drivers, they're the good.
Yes. And now David Reutimann is among the elite group of Cup winners on this NASCAR's Top Series, and no one can ever take that away from him. When we come back, we're going to continue our discussion on Dale Earnhardt Jr. and get to the bottom of why some of this has all come about. This is NASCAR Race Day, built by the Home Depot, and we're live from Dover, Delaware, the first state and the home of the concrete carnivore known as the Monster Mile at Dover. David Reutimann followed his Coke 600 win with the pole here in Dover, and he will lead us to the green flag this afternoon. Jeff Gordon calls this somewhat of a hometown track because of the DuPont headquarters nearby, and the 24 will start 42nd and make his way up through the pack as the points leader. We're ready for 400 miles on the Concrete Canyon in Dover, so we hope you are too. Strap in, everybody. It's race day in Dover. Now, one of the longest driver-crew chief combinations in racing was Dale Jr. and Tony Eury Jr. That came to an end this week. They won together, they lost together, but no matter what they did, they were always under NASCAR's microscope.
I think they're getting too hot. He was doing fine. It was just pink, but I mean, you can just see the rear rotors and the front. So it means you just balanced out. He was wheeling it.
When Dale Earnhardt Jr. went full-time into the Sprint Cup Series in 2000, Tony Eury Jr. was there to support him. It was a family affair. Tony Eury Sr. was his crew chief and uncle, and Tony Jr. his car chief and cousin. Together they owned the restrictor plate tracks.
Dale Earnhardt Jr. wins the 46th Daytona 500.
But as time wore on, tensions rose between driver and car chief.
If you look back over the last several weeks, you know, we're hot and cold. We got to fix that.
As Dale said, they could no longer work together without it looking like a Jerry Springer episode.
They just told Dale Earnhardt Jr. that we're staying out. He said, what? We are going to get our butt kicked.
To start the 2005 season, everything got changed except for Little E's number and sponsor. Eury Jr. became the crew chief for Michael Waltrip, while Pete Rondo left the 15 and took over the 8. It seemed like a good idea at the time.
Boy, Jr. just tried to move up a little too quickly and caught the back of Vickers' car for what he was thinking.
Except after 11 races, Jr. had led a total of 5 laps. Rondo was out, and Steve Hamill was in, which led to the only bright spot of the season.
Dale Earnhardt Jr. has struggled all season, but today, the Great 8 goes back to victory lane. Earnhardt wins at Chicago.
Jr. didn't have much success with Waltrip either, and ended up back with Earnhardt before season's end.
Dale Earnhardt Jr. said he heard Tony Uri Jr. on the radio for the first time this week. It's like hearing from a best friend he hadn't heard from in a long time.
The juniors needed each other, but some things never change.
Are we on the same page? Peter, I'm on the same page. I ain't even touching the tires, ain't making an adjustment, it gets loose, I'm sorry.
I wanted to take as much time possible to find the right team, the team that was right for me as a person and where I could compete for championships.
In 2007, Earnhardt tested the free agent waters and signed with Hendrick Motorsports, with Tony Uri Jr. to be in his familiar spot atop the pit box.
And the 30th Budweiser shootout goes to the AMP National Guard Impala, Dale Earnhardt Jr.
Yes, sir.
All right! All right!
Dale Earnhardt Jr., after going nearly 2 years without a win, switched teams, and now he is 2 for 2.
But high expectations are yet to be met since the juniors have adopted the number 88.
Said that was better? Yeah, I just think I'm just loosening in and off still. That problem you gave up on fixing with the bike. Still got that problem, had it all day. Pit right here, pit, Dale Jr. What'd you say? Well, jabbering, I was going to tell you to pit so I can put 4 tires on it right here, but y'all was jabbering, so it's fine.
Dale Earnhardt Jr. wiggles off the corner, and here comes Mark Martin.
He the leader? Yes, sir, that's the leader. All right. Well, there he goes.
Now, granted, there's a certain amount of pressure that goes with any driver in the Cup Series, but is it fair? And you guys know about pressure. Kenny, you came into racing with the last name of Wallace. Kyle, you came in with the last name of Petty.
What are you going to do?
Is it fair to put so much pressure on one guy, especially when he just happens to have a famous last name?
I have a story. Are all of you ready to listen?
I am.
I'm adjusting my microphone so y'all can hear me.
This is going to be good.
2 years ago at the Waldorf Astoria, our leader, our boss at NASCAR, Brian Fance, was asked, why is NASCAR leveling out? His answer was this, because Dale Jr. is not winning. Today, I looked at the paper that was out on Friday in the USA Today. David Hill, my boss, our boss at the Fox Network, he said, our research shows that when Dale Jr. wins, ratings go up. Some of the 2 most powerful people in all of sports, Bill France, David Hill of Fox, have put the pressure on this kid to perform.
And that's a lot of pressure, Kenny.
It's a lot of pressure, okay? Let me ask you this. How much can one man burden? Are we in a situation that Dale Earnhardt Jr. controls the sport? I mean, are our ratings going to rise to the occasion if Dale Jr. wins? I feel sorry for Dale Jr. I wish he was not in this situation. Now on tracks, I'm ending now. I'm ending. Here's the finale. On Trackside Live on Speed on Friday night, we were interviewing Tony Stewart. And we said, Tony, what were you talking to Junior about during qualifying? The cameras caught him. And he said, Tony Stewart said, I'll tell you what we was talking about. There he is right here. He said, I said, Junior, would you please start running better? Because the media, every time, Tony Stewart wins the All-Star race. He goes to the media center, and all they want to talk about is what's wrong with Junior. What do you think of Junior? Tony Stewart said, I said, Junior, please get your act together. They won't quit interviewing me. So Junior says, I wish I could change my name. Dale Jr. says, I wish I could change my name. And Tony Stewart says, change your name to Mo Money, because you're making all the money, baby.
So
okay.
That's good.
So, Kyle, it's your turn, but all I'm trying to say, I don't know why anybody puts pressure on this kid. He didn't ask to be born with the last name of Earnhardt. Take it easy on him.
Yeah, and I'm going to say this. If this sport has come to the point where we rise and fall on the tide of one single driver, when we have 43 great drivers out there, then this sport's in a sad state. And I don't believe that it's in a sad state. I believe that the junior nation that rises and falls with whatever Junior does, that's huge. But let me say something here. A lot of blame is being heaped on Tony Jr., and it's not Tony Uri Jr. Let me tell you something. These guys had success. They won huge races, but the pressure is getting to them all. I think because of the crew chief change and the way we see it. I got a quote here, and this is what jumped out at me at the press conference the other day. 2 things was how Junior's team rallied him around it. I've never seen him change a crew chief and a driver at any team, whether it be Childress, whether it be Roush, no matter where everybody comes to the press conference. You got Jeff Gordon, you got Jimmy Johnson, you got Mark Martin, you got Alan Gustafson. You got all those guys that come to a press conference for Junior. It's all about Junior right now. And the point is, everybody wants to see him do good, but there's so much pressure on him. For the first time in my life, I think Junior has forged his own path and done a tremendous job of being Junior, not being Dale Sr. I think he's done a great job. But for the first time, he said something at the press conference, and I'm going to read his quote. It said, "But eventually, I'm going to be the one who has to answer to the fact of how much did I live up to my father's name? How much did I live up to his wins? And everything he accomplished, and how much did I live up to everyone else's expectations? All my fans and all the media expectations." And let me tell you something. For a 34-year-old guy to have that much pressure on him that finally he's feeling that he has to be Dale Earnhardt Sr., that's bad. He's not going to win races. He's not going to perform if there's that much pressure on him. We got to back off. I don't think we even need to talk about Dale Jr. in the chase. We need to talk about Dale Jr. just getting back to being Dale Jr. and being a race car driver.
And Kyle speaking from experience there.
Very good.
Let's take a look at the next
Good,
step
Kyle.
for Dale Earnhardt Jr., and that's going to be making the chase for the Sprint Cup. He's got 13 more races to get that done. And now we take a look at the championship standings. First place, Jeff Gordon leads Tony Stewart by 44. Then it's Kurt Busch, Jimmy Johnson in the 4th place. That's after 12 of the 36 races. And now here's where things get interesting. Dale Earnhardt Jr. finds himself, absolutely, we'll go back to that in just a second. Denny Hamlin, 5th through 8th, goes like this with Jeff Burton, 250 out. And you're getting to be some pretty big numbers in between the first place and the last place guy in the chase at 294 is Mark Martin, the last guy that's in as of right now. And here is the question, and that is the deficit to the 12th spot that Mark Martin now holds. Dale Earnhardt Jr. is 203 points. And Kyle, we've kind of looked back at Matt Kenseth a couple years back. He was the guy who came from the furthest back at this point in the season to make it in, but man, he went on a tear.
Yeah, I think when he went on a wicked tear. I think when you look at Dale Jr. or look at Matt was 2nd in races. He won races. He was 3rd in races. He would have been leading the points. If you'd have taken that same stretch, he would have been leading the points race. Dale Jr.'s got to go on a tear. And once again, I'm going to say this. Don't put that pressure on that kid. Don't put that pressure on that team. Let these guys go out and get their stuff straight.
And you're basically asking for something that's impossible. You're asking for Dale Jr. now to get a new crew chief. It's a different feeling around him. When Matt made up those 200 or so points, whatever it was, Matt was with his own people. They just had some mojo going wrong. You know, a motor here, a tire here. So it's going to be hard.
And Hermie Sadler, as we bring you into this conversation, doesn't matter if your name's Dale Earnhardt Jr. or Dale Smith Jr., there's pressure on Cup drivers.
You know what, but I look at it a little bit differently. I got a little bit different swing on this in that I think now that a change has been made, and Tony Eury Jr. is kind of like, you know, the elephant in the room. Dale Earnhardt Jr., Tony Eury Jr., their family, they worked together for so long. It came down to the very end. They didn't want to make a change, but now that Rick Hendrick has stepped up and made that change, I sense a little bit this weekend that Dale Jr. already has, you know, some of the pressure has left. I think he thinks that maybe some of the expectations went out the door when Tony Eury Jr. left, and now he feels like maybe he's got a little bit of time to get his stuff back together. Now, will a little bit less pressure and maybe a little bit less expectations for the short term be a benefit to these guys? We don't know, but you guys just looked at the numbers. He can't afford just to get top 20s if he's going to make this chase. He's got to win and get top 5s starting today.
Now, Hermie, thanks a lot. Want to find out what happens? You got to watch the race on Fox this afternoon. We'll see how Dale Earnhardt Jr. does with this newly revamped team around him. When we come back, we're going to put two guys together that always guarantee us fun. So stick around. More from Dover, NASCAR Race Day built by the Home Depot.
Cold and wet never felt so good. After career win #1, Reutimann chats with Wendy and lets her in on his euphoria.
I just wish I could go back and take in that moment a little more and remember more of it, because things were said and I shook hands and there's interactions that I just don't remember anything about, because I still couldn't believe it was actually happening.
Stay tuned. NASCAR Race Day, built by the Home Depot.
Welcome back, everybody, to Dover. You know, sometimes we get serious on race day, and then we like to take a step back and have a little bit of fun. And who do you go to when you want to have fun? Well, in this case, we're going to go to Rutledge Wood and Elliott Sadler.
Hey guys, so we're here again for the Sonoco Free Fuel 5000, and this is the 5th year of the promotion, and it couldn't be easier. Here's how it works. You go by any participating Sonoco and pick up your free decal, just like you see on the Cup cars, and then if you're spotted with it, you will instantly win a $10 gas card and be entered in the drawing for 5,000 gallons of Sonoco fuel. Let's go see who's got them on their Sprint Cup cars. Come on. This year for another great Sonoco Free Fuel 5000.
Well, I appreciate that. I want one of those fuel cards. I mean, that's what I really want.
Well, I have good news. Since you had a decal, you get one.
You did a great job. Now, I can win 5,000 gallons of free fuel from Sonoco.
And for the average family, that's like 8 years worth of gas.
That is a lot of gas.
It's
it
a
can
lot.
go a long ways right now.
It's a lot.
So look, how is the spotting going? Is it going well for you?
So far, it's just a test run. The real contest doesn't start until June 1st. So right now, I'm just kind of getting the hang of it. But we're going to give away 15,000 gift cards, instant winners.
15,000? Whoa, that's a lot of gift cards. You better get busy.
I should go now. For all the fans that want to log on, go to GoSonoco.com for all the details, and maybe you'll see us spotting you.
It's the 5th year of the Sonoco Free Fuel 5000 exclusively at Sonoco. It's easy to participate. Simply visit any participating Sonoco station, pick up a free Sonoco decal, put it in a prominent location on your car, and visit our stations on a regular basis for a chance to be spotted. For more information, go to GoSonoco.com. When we come back, we'll talk to the happiest man in Concord, North Carolina last weekend.
Welcome back to NASCAR Race Day, built by the Home Depot. It was a washout yesterday. Today, nice and sunny here in Dover, Delaware. And last week was a washout for sure at Lowe's Motor Speedway. The guy benefiting with a win on that was David Reutimann in the 00, and they surely like that wet dog paint scheme they had last week. It was the first win for David Reutimann, the first win for Michael Waltrip Racing, and as David Reutimann told us in a team meeting that we sat in on, he said it doesn't matter which car you work for, we all work for the same team, and I think everybody at Michael Waltrip Racing is proud to call themselves a winner. Here is a look at this week's Real Deal.
13 drivers were running in front of David Reutimann when that last caution came out. They all went to pit road. Reutimann did not. He went to victory lane.
All right, first off, David, congratulations. You've gone through a lot in your career to get to this day. How does it feel to finally be a Sprint Cup Series winner?
Obviously, I was telling everybody, when you're growing up and you're dreaming of winning a race, you don't dream of winning a rain-shortened race. You know, you want to do it, you know, the old-fashioned way, so to speak. But, man, I mean, you know, Roddy Childers, you know, put us in a great position there, and he made the right call. And we took a gamble, and that's part of the deal. So it feels good. Still trying to take it all in and see all what's involved, and you know, getting our name engraved on the trophy and all the stuff that goes along with that. It's been a kind of a unique experience, and I've had a lot of fun with it. And more importantly, I think the guys that are around the shop have had a lot of fun too, because those are the guys that work week in, week out to get us there, and they deserve that.
What was your initial reaction when you realized you were that first car staying out?
I saw everybody peel off, and Roddy says,
"And I'd say we gotta stay out, stay out, stay out."
And I made it about the flag stand before I said,
If all them guys came, they got to know something we don't.
I can tell you this, I will not be doubting Roddy Childers' word. You know, and he told me, it's like, it's a gamble. You know, we need to come in and work on our car anyway and make it better. Just why not gamble and see if it sticks? And it was the right call. It's a perfect call.
Smart call. They outfoxed the field. Don't anybody call this luck. They had to make it work.
What are your thoughts, and what do you say to those critics that say you stole this race by the way it ended?
You know, I mean, somebody's got to win it. That's the way the rules are. I mean, that's the way things. We've seen it happen countless, you know, times and times again. And maybe if it was another driver, they wouldn't be making such a big deal about it, you know. But in the end, I'm having a hard time caring.
There's his dad right there, Buzzy, coming up there. I think it's like right now, what do you say to him? And what can you say?
Your dad, Buzzy, as we know, is your hero. There was some times during that rain delay that I saw a smile, and it's only when Buzzy was near you talking. What was the conversation like between you and Buzzy?
He has a way of just coming up out of the blue and coming up with something completely ridiculous to kind of break the ice. And I kept, are you hungry? It's like, no, I'm not hungry. He goes, I got chicken wings over there. You want me to get you chicken wing? I was like, no, I don't want a chicken wing. He says, you want something to drink? It's like, no, I don't want anything to drink. So he knew it was aggravating me, so he kept coming back and asking me, you want a piece of gum? You want anything? We just going back to, well, just trying to do something, because he knows how I get, how nervous I get. It's kind of something to kind of break the ice and break the monotony a little bit, and hopefully make what was going on go by a little bit quicker,
I thought maybe your dad, Buzzy, asked for your race winnings for his dirt car or something.
No, he didn't ask for it, but he knows he's probably going to end up getting it. So it's interesting. We have a cool relationship, he and I do, and we have a lot of fun. Yeah, I enjoy being his car owner. I know that's one of the more enjoyable things I get to do.
Coca-Cola 600 is history, and David Reutimann is the winner. Smart call. They outfoxed the field.
And now you're the addition to the Sprint All-Star race next year.
Yes, I didn't even think about that. Yeah, absolutely. So we're in. Wow, that's cool. I've forgotten all about that. See,
you didn't even think about it?
No, I didn't even think about it. I've forgotten all about that. And that's a huge race. That's a big deal for me.
Can you look back yet and feel like you've made it in your racing career?
No, not even close. Still a lot of things I need to accomplish before you've quote unquote made it. The Jimmy Johnsons and the Jeff Gordons of the world, those guys have made it, in my opinion. Those guys have arrived. Me, I'm just, I'm on a really, really tall ladder, and I'm just kind of one rung at a time. And hopefully we skip a couple rungs and get up to the top a little quicker. But yeah, we still got a long way to go.
And in a split second, David Reutimann followed the call of his crew chief, Rodney Childers. And when you look back at it, a majority of the drivers in that situation may have ignored the call their crew chief was making, but David Reutimann believed in you, and he followed you, and he stayed out, and you guys ended up with a win. That's got to say a lot about your relationship.
Yeah, I mean, it's like that every week. If I tell him to pit, he pits. If I tell him not to pit, he stays out, and he never questions it one bit. But it was a fun weekend last weekend. I'm glad it worked out for the team. Everybody's worked really hard all year to try to get a win, and we kind of gave a couple of them away earlier this year, so it was nice that it worked out.
All right, starting from the pole today, it's a long day because we saw the rain washed away a lot of rubber after the races yesterday with Nationwide and trucks. I know you're not feeling the greatest, you say. What can we expect from today from you on pit road and from David Reutimann in that car?
Yeah, we've had a great Aaron's Dream machine all weekend. It was really fast right off the truck, and then was able to sit on the pole for today and got a good pit stall, and feel really good about it. We were really good in the first practice yesterday, and then we changed a few things that got off a little bit in the second practice. So we basically put it back like we started yesterday, and should be good today.
Now, when I walked through Michael Waltrip Racing this week, the heads were held high. Everybody had their shoulders out. Not that you guys are an overly confident group, but there definitely was a different feel in that shop. How proud are you of these guys? And you guys are so close. 13th in points, only 6 points out of the top 12. You've got to be proud.
Yeah, really proud. I mean, you look at what the company's done in the past 3 years and how far they've come, and it's got to be a good moment for everybody there, especially the guys that have been there since day one, But it was just a great day for everybody, a great day for Aaron's, and it's been a fun week, and everybody has enjoyed it, and it has gave everybody some confidence, and we needed that because we had a few weeks where we made mistakes and got ourselves back in points where we shouldn't be, and I feel really good about today. Hopefully we can hang in there all day and just see what it brings us.
All right, good luck to you guys. I hope you feel better. And Johnny, if you could have seen that team meeting that they held this week in Michael Waltrip Racing's theater, it was quite the sight because everybody spoke words of encouragement. Everybody was happy, Johnny. Definitely a change of pace at Michael Waltrip Racing, and they're almost in the top 12, hoping to get more than one car in that chase cutoff in 14 races.
Wendy, thanks a lot, and it's always great to see a first-time winner. We could see one this afternoon because anything can and will happen on the Monster Mile at Dover. Now on Friday, NASCAR on Speed kicks off the race weekend in Pocono. Coverage begins with NASCAR Sprint Cup practice at noon, and don't miss trackside at 7:30 Eastern with Jeff Gordon and Casey Mears. Advanced Auto Parts keep the wheels turning. An unprecedented NASCAR meeting. We'll tell you what happened when we come back. Here in Dover, Delaware, we're just under 2 hours away from the Autism Speaks 400 here on the Monster Mile. Now, this past week, NASCAR held an unprecedented town hall style meeting. They've never had anything like it before, to hear from the drivers and the owners about what they think about where NASCAR needs to go in the future. To get NASCAR's perspective, let's now go to Wendy Venturini.
Thanks, Johnny. Yes, it was kind of a shocking meeting of sorts because we don't hear very often NASCAR calling the drivers and the car owners and the crew chiefs on a weekday meeting at the R&D Center. That's exactly what you've done, Robin. Why was this meeting called, and who exactly decided that this meeting had to take place this week?
I think the large part of us in the competition department, I feel like, you know, we always have the open door policy, but, you know, in today's world, we're more busy than ever. And I think Mike and Brian thought it was good to just get everybody together and go over some of our challenges and things, and it's about working together. And so that was a meeting that we held, and we'll have more before the end of the season.
Now, we had the rain delay in Charlotte. That Sunday, it seemed like I was hearing a lot of rumblings from the crew chiefs and car owners discussing what they wanted to discuss with you guys, NASCAR, on Tuesday. Was there anything that came out of the meeting that they brought up that maybe was surprising to you guys, or that you hadn't thought of, or maybe you just wanted to hear it from them?
I don't think there was any surprises, really. You know, it was very open, and like I said, we always have these conversations one-on-one. But it was nice to get it in front of a group and let everybody hear everybody else's ideas and things. So it went pretty smooth.
Okay, so what can we expect? Any changes to take place with this car? And if so, when will changes take place?
Well, the car was really just a small part of it. I mean, we talked about the business. We talked about everything that it takes to put races on and to be competitive. So double file restarts was a pretty hot topic, and we're working hard on that. And we may see some changes of that. Not characteristic of us, but you may see something happen in the next few weeks, and we're looking forward to that part of it. But it takes a lot of time, a lot of effort to put these things together, and there's a lot of different ideas to process, and we're working with the teams and ideas they have and ideas that we have.
Okay, thanks to Robin Pemberton for joining us. Johnny, as we know, this meeting was unprecedented, as you mentioned before, and a lot of topics have been discussed in this garage area, which then turned around, went to NASCAR. Sounds like NASCAR is moving forward with some of those ideas.
Wendy, thanks a lot. This afternoon's Autism Speaks 400 is the final race of the season for the best broadcast team in the business, and that's the Fox Race broadcast team. Now we're happy to bring in Mike Joy and Larry McReynolds. And gentlemen, on behalf of everybody here at Speed, we want to say thanks for a great year of coverage so far. But when you guys look at what came out this past weekend, some of the discussions that took place between the drivers and NASCAR, what changes do you think we might see throughout this year?
I think, as Robin tipped, we're going to see some very soon, and the one that we are most in favor of collectively, and that includes Darrell, who's down in the Hollywood Hotel preparing for the telecast, is the double file restart. This is a topic that comes up every year right after the All-Star race because it produces a lot of excitement, and it can be a game changer. But NASCAR has a lot of issues to deal with, Larry, relative to this. For example, if you have all the lead lap cars up front double file, and the lap cars have to start in the back, it becomes hard for anybody to race to the front and get a lap back. So what do you do with the free pass? There are a lot of things that need to be considered, and NASCAR is working through these, but they've got a real good handle on it. And my understanding is that in the meeting Tuesday, they got some really good and unexpected input about how they can tweak this and make it even a little more exciting for the fans and for the teams.
Yeah, there's no question. After watching the All-Star race, which we've seen that every single year in the All-Star race, is the double file restarts. And I know that was one of the concerns, is the fact that NASCAR has always had the ability for a guy that had a fast race car that got a lap down to race his way back on the lead lap. It's like I told David Hoots with NASCAR. 36 races last year, 12 this year. You can probably count on one hand and have 3 or 4 fingers left over of a car that actually did that. We don't need that anymore with the free pass. Put the free pass potential guys back there behind the lead lap cars, and that creates a race within a race. I know the other thing that they're looking hard at, and they have to be careful here because part of the agenda with this new car is to keep the cost down. But I know they're looking at things that they may can tweak, and maybe they'll just go to a racetrack and let several teams work on things, maybe to make this car where it's not so aero sensitive. The thing I'm impressed with, I've been in NASCAR for almost 30 years. I've never known them to have a meeting like this. They are looking and they are listening. At the end of the day, we're in show business, and our fans are the most important people that we have to please.
One other thing that came out of this meeting that I think is very important. A number of drivers went into it with concerns about NASCAR's drug policy in the light of recent events and recent articles and stories that have been filed both in the print and electronic media. And every driver that I've heard quoted after the meeting says they now understand NASCAR's policy, they believe they're on firm ground, and everybody's ready to go forward and is in line with what NASCAR wants to do with the drug policy.
And I think that's the only thing the drivers, the owners, even the crew chiefs were looking for is just, you know, a more clear cut what the substance abuse policy was all about. But Johnny, going back to your comment, yeah, it's a bittersweet day for us. Hard to believe that our 9th year of NASCAR on Fox is coming to a close, but it's only 8 months until the 2010 Daytona 500, and we will be there alive and ready to go once again in our 10th year of NASCAR on Fox.
Mike and Larry, gentlemen, thank you very much. Keep up the good work, and we'll be watching this afternoon.
Thank you, JR. Have fun the rest of this season.
Okay, want to bring in Hermie Sadler now. And Hermie, just how big is this, not from a clarifying standpoint by itself, but also for NASCAR to be listening to the drivers?
I think it's huge for them to invite the drivers and the owners to come, you know, listen to what they have to say to try to make the sport better. I think as fans and drivers and media members, we're so quick to say, okay, do this, it'll make for much better racing. NASCAR has always had a policy, and Kyle and Kenny, you guys know, they look at the consequences of everything they do and make a good, thorough decision. But I think there's a couple things. Double file restart to me is a no-brainer. Let's line them up, race them up front. The car stuff, I hope they will start looking at some of the guys who are working on the cars to making the car better.
Yeah, you know, and I'm gonna take a little bit of a reverse angle. Show me that you had a meeting and you listened to what the guys said and you changed something. I've been around this sport. My grandfather raced, my father raced. They've always had an open door policy, but very rarely do they listen to competitors and listen to owners and change anything. They just don't. They just give you lip service, and I'm tired of lip service. The sport needs a little bit of something different. Double file restarts, I'm all for it on big tracks. I'm not for it on short tracks. If you're double file and you start 25th or 26th at Martinsville, guess what? You go from 1 lap down to 2 laps down because they're going to catch your butt and put you another lap down. So lucky dog or not, some things I'm for, some things I'm not. But I'm going to be a little cynical here and say, show me something, NASCAR. Show me that you listened to that meeting, and then I'll believe something.
Wow.
Sorry.
Hold on.
Sorry.
No. Is that Jimmy Spencer? Right here. You got to say, you suck. Hi, Jimmy. Hey, listen, Mike Helton is the president of NASCAR, and he's always said, look, race fans, or look drivers, look cars, look crew members, take care of our sport. We all make a living off of our sport. And I'd like to say thank you for that, Mike. But one thing I think that this meeting is going to do is everybody that gets out of the race cars, and sometimes people are negative, you know. Tell me about your race car. Well, my car sucks. I don't like these car tomorrows. I think what the meeting will do will let drivers and crew chiefs and owners vent and be real mean in closed doors. Say what you want to, real negative. That way, when you get out of these cars and you come to the racetrack, hopefully you'll be a little less deflated and won't be so darn negative about our sport. Remember what I said. Mike Helton said we all make a living off of this sport. Take care of it.
I agree with Kyle 100%. They got to show us, but it is a good first step for them to open the door and let them talk. Good first step.
Yes, and that's why you stay tuned, because we shall see what happens on the track throughout the rest of the season. We still have a lot of racing left to go. And as soon as we're done here on NASCAR Race Day, built by the Home Depot, we want you to flip over to your local Fox affiliate. Fox will have their say on the number 88 crew chief change. Some big drivers played golf for a good cause. And they'll also get to know Billy Badbutt. Did I just say that on TV?
Oh, yeah, that was good.
Billy Badbutt. You don't want to miss that.
It was on there.
So this monster has a new pit road, huh? Think it's become more hospitable, too? Betcha White Lightning still has some bite. The boys go for a ride. Safer barriers beware. Coming at ya. NASCAR Race Day, built by the Home Depot.
Race fans want to learn something new today? Go to speedtv.com, type in keyword Advanced Auto Parts, and check out the Advanced Auto Parts virtual cutaway car. We guarantee that you will learn at least something. And now, to learn more, let's go to our Advanced Auto Parts Texplanation. And Hermie Sadler. And Hermie, at one time or another, we all deal with some type of a weight issue, but you have a more weighty issue in the race car.
We're all going to talk about weight with that Advanced Auto Parts car. Not my weight or not your weight, JR, but want to explain to the fans about the weight of these race cars and how NASCAR mandates it. Now, there's 3,450-pound cars. Every car weighs 3,450 without the driver. Now, how do you put weight on the car, and why do we always hear crew chiefs talking about we want to build a light car? Well, they do that because they want to put more lead in the frame rail. If you notice back in NASCAR Performance this weekend, we showed how they insert lead into the frame rails. Well, they use a couple different mechanisms. Number one, a piece of lead right here. We'll put it on the scale. You can see the weight right there. It comes up on the screen. But not a lot of room in some of these frame rails, so they use what we call tungsten. Very expensive and a lot heavier. This smaller piece weighs the same as a piece of lead. Now, how do you decide driver weight? How do you decide how much weight can you drag for a driver depending on driver weight? Well, 200 pounds for the driver is the baseline. For instance, you got a 3,450-pound race car. If your driver weighs 170, which I wish I did, they would add 30 pounds to the car to make 200. If your driver weighs 190, you add 10. You do that for a maximum of 50 pounds. If you're over 200, you're out of luck. But if you think about weight in a race car, even though they all weigh 3,450, very important to have a low center of gravity and being able to adjust your nose weight and balance of the race car. So you'll hear a lot of guys talking about, let's build a light car so we can put this lead where we want it to go fast. JR?
Hermie, thanks a lot. So basically what we're saying there is you got different concerns if your driver's Jimmy Spencer or if he's Jimmy Johnson.
Exactly. Or Mark Martin or Joey Logano. Now we're talking 120.
Let's jump up in the race car and take a trip around this concrete monster with Carl Edwards.
Well, here we come off of turn 2. There's the bridge. You come up on top of the racetrack. Now, here's what I'll point out. Look at the hill. Down into the valley. And when you go down in, you must come back up. Here we come. Look at this, race fans. Back up the hill, Kyle Petty.
Yeah, and this is where you got to have a pretty decent motor here to pull up out of that hole. You hear those guys, and we've heard people say, I can drive off in the corner. I just got nothing coming up out of the corner. And the problem is, as you come up, you're coming up, the front of the car gets light as this levels down. And this is where you hear these guys talk about being real pushy or real loose right there.
And what I like about this racetrack, once this race starts, you'll see cars all over this racetrack. Yeah. We'll see some bottom feeders like Tony Stewart at the bottom. We'll see Juan Pablo Montoya, Casey Kane, and some guys up at the top of the racetrack. But the cool thing is, look right here, Tony Stewart right at the bottom of the racetrack, digging, as we call it, at the bottom of the track, Kenny.
Now, I must say, watch Juan Pablo Montoya, and I love saying this, from Bogota, Colombia. Here he goes. Now, watch this lane. Juan Pablo will run this lane all day. Now, yes, you're saying, well, look at the 48, he's gaining, but watch this. The 42, he comes down the hill and pulls away from Jimmy Johnson.
Hey, this new car and this gear rule, keeping your car up the top of the racetrack to keep that momentum wound up, Kyle, because you're in the corners a long time here.
Yeah, and let me just say this. If this was asphalt and this was 20 years ago, Juan Montoya is running incredibly low compared to where Harry Gant would be. Harry Gant would be up next to the wall having that thing wound up. But when they went to concrete, you have to keep these things wound up. And I think we saw it during qualifying the other day with Juan when he qualified third. He was right in the middle of the racetrack.
It's just cool to watch. You know, you give up a little bit in the center, you gain it back on exit, but you gotta have options, and you do have them on this racetrack.
And race fans, remember back to when that race last year that the Biff won here, there were 4 cars going up and down all over this racetrack all the way till the end. So you don't want to miss that, and you don't want to miss what we got coming up next. There's nothing like a pit road confrontation, and there's nothing like Booty Barker, and we got them both coming up.
Did you say Booty?
Booty.
Booty, baby.
Welcome back, everybody, to NASCAR Race Day. Over the years in NASCAR, we've had some great nicknames. We've had a Fireball, an Ironhead, and a Rubberhead. But thanks to this confrontation on pit road last weekend, now we have a gentleman who's going to go by the name of Billy Badbutt for the rest of his career. Actually, his name's Dwayne Biggers, and he was sticking up for his driver with Tony Stewart last weekend.
You know, Tony come down and said some stuff, and it was cool he come down and said some stuff. And he respects Tony, and I respect Tony. But he just kept egging it on, you know, and just kept saying it and saying it and saying it. And finally you get far enough along, it just keeps boiling, and pretty soon you just blow up, you know. And I blew up, but he's too nice of a guy sometimes, you know what I mean? But he's an awesome wheelman. I mean, he's a good driver. He respects everybody, and sometimes he's got to push back a little bit too, you know?
And Dwayne and David have been together all the way back to the Nemco days, so they've been together for a long time. They know each other, and you know what? You got to have a crew member that has your back. Now, when it comes to pit road confrontations, the guy that we want to have our back just so happens to be Booty Barker, and he's the guy we're going to check in with now to get his take on the pit road scuffles.
We're here at Dover this weekend, and we're going to bring you some good stuff. Now, we know it's a lot of drama going on in the garage, and we're not going to speak about that. We're going to talk about something a little more familiar to me that happened at the Coca-Cola 600. Those race cars, as well as our race teams, are our babies. It's our families, and the drivers are the head of our families. We have to support them. We want them to do well because we put our blood, sweat, and tears into that race car every week. We got everything we have into that car to try to win that race. So when Tony eased down on David and started talking a little bit, Dwayne took it for a while, but it'd be just like somebody stepping up to your brother or your father or something and talking a little smack. After a while, you're going to step in. Now, I know Darrell and the boys commented on whether they would want to or not, but I'm just going to tell you, all these drivers deep down inside definitely want those crew members to have their backs because can't none of them fight worth a lick, except maybe Carl Edwards. He's pretty stout. But the rest of them, I'm just telling you, they're looking over their shoulder and they're keying that mic going, boys, y'all might ought to get down here. I might need some help. So I'm just letting you know, regardless of what those drivers say, and regardless of the drama it seems to be, it's all good because we all have so much passion for what we do, and that's the Napa good stuff.
There is a theory that you let the drivers settle it between themselves, but when everybody's around and you embarrass the driver in front of everybody, then it's fair game. Let me tell you something. When I go to the racetrack, if my crew is not behind me, I mean, you know, I want everybody behind me. So, hey, look, this was all fun. This was great. Tony Stewart is now great friends with Billy Badbutt because T. Stu said, look, I've made you famous. So, I mean, if it's driver to driver behind the trucks and trailers, nobody enters. But once it's in the public and everybody hears, game on, baby. Team against team.
Yeah, you want big dudes.
Right.
Big dudes behind you.
Like I said,
in case there's trouble. Because like Booty said, those guys are very passionate and sometimes tempers flare, especially on pit road in the heat of competition. We're going to take another quick break here on NASCAR Race Day built by the Home Depot. But when we come back, we're going to talk about a very nice gesture made by Denny Hamlin and Joe Gibbs Racing this week. It's a Friday night rodeo as the Camping World Truck Series heads to Texas. Ron Hornaday arrives as the defending race winner, but his championship lead is shrinking. Could we see another first-time winner in victory lane? Live coverage from Texas begins Friday at 8:30 Eastern. Truck racing on speed. Be there. Well, we are here at Dover on the Monster Mile, and the number 11 team, Joe Gibbs Racing, made a very nice gesture this week as they stopped off in the nation's capital. For more on that, let's go to Wendy Venturini.
Well, thank you, Johnny. Yes, Denny Hamlin spent his short week that we had with the rain-shortened race from Charlotte, headed to D.C. to hand out a vehicle, a response unit to the Salvation Army. You, Joe Gibbs, went ahead and did that. Tell us more about that event that took place this week.
Yeah, it was a great experience. It's one of 12 disaster relief units that we were able to donate to the Salvation Army this year, and it just helped them try to help the people in need that from natural disasters, whether it be in the local DC area or across the whole country, basically. So with the hurricanes and tornadoes and everything that gets hit, the United States gets hit with, it just helps them provide assistance to those people.
Great thought by you and the whole entire Joe Gibbs organization. So how is your car going to help you to get to victory lane today?
As long as it all stays together, no pit road issues or anything like that. Great thing that they did here with pit road, and hopefully the tires stay on it. I know with the rain washing the rubber off, it's going to be edgy. I think you're going to really have to be patient for the first 100 laps until the track gets rubbered in. Have to be careful on the top side. So I think there'll be probably more than that one mandatory caution at lap 30. So you're just going to have to be patient today and realize that you got to be here at the end. The last two races, it looked like with the truck race and nationwide race, it was just survival.
Now, in final practice yesterday, you were the fastest car, looked good on the racetrack. Are you really happy with the way the race trim is set up, though, for today?
Yeah, I think so. We had some decent speed. It looked like the 48 was very, very strong. Our car was strong right off the bat. We did have some tire wear issues after about lap 20 or so we got to be careful of it. Even though you may have some speed in the car, you can't show it all at the beginning.
All right, Denny Hamlin has a long day ahead of him. Everybody here in the garage area and in the motorhome lot talking about those tires, Johnny. That's definitely going to be an issue today at Dover.
Wendy, thanks a lot and best of luck to the 11 team. But now it is time to go to Rutledge Wood, who is looking for NASCAR's most colorful fan for M&Ms.
So when we're looking for NASCAR's most colorful fan, we get to have a lot of fun. And today, Lindsay hit a home run because we have found the total package.
I think we have. We've seen some great fans. We've seen people with some crazy outfits, some colorful hair, and some crazy RVs. And today we found the full package.
And who is it?
Richard.
Now, obviously, with a van as stylish as this, there's going to be a man that matches that style. Yep. And that man is Richard. Richard, you look fantastic.
Oh. I feel great. How you doing, buddy?
Good, man. So you're a big fan of the sport?
Oh, I love the sport. I love all the different drivers.
What more do you need than a crazy travel van like this? How many miles have you been?
Oh, over 300,000 miles in my van, and at least 100,000 been going to racetracks.
This isn't something you can find everywhere. No. This is Richard's own Car of Tomorrow wing. It's adjustable, mind you.
I had it before them, and another thing.
You're saying that NASCAR saw the wing on your van and caused it on the car?
NASCAR.
This is where the wing came from. You've been asking. Here it is.
It came from me, and I swear they saw it down probably Atlanta or Bristol or Charlotte. But one of the racetracks, they saw my wing, and they knew they had a copy of it.
Where's Atlanta?
Atlanta.
I'm sorry.
Okay, that's just not.
See, Richard, I don't know. I'm enjoying the differences. If you see the wing on the van, you need to come say hi to Atlanta.
Yes.
Richard, you may be in Atlanta.
Atlanta, yes.
Atlanta.
It's somewhere soon.
Somewhere.
Right? Somewhere in the near future.
Yeah, and what Richard doesn't know is that NASCAR said his wing was illegal. For those of you who couldn't make it to Dover, make sure to register at NASCAR.com/most colorful fan for your chance to be M&M's most colorful fan of NASCAR winner. On the site, you can vote for your favorites, play the games, and have a chance to go to the season-ending race at Homestead, Miami. When we come back, we'll talk about the chase. Strap in, race fans, because we're in the heart of the first state, Dover, Delaware, for 400 miles of action on the Monster Mile. It's a concrete carnivore that definitely will chew up and spit out some race cars. This weekend, Dale Earnhardt Jr. has a new crew chief, and we shall see what effect that has on the number 88 team. David Reutimann is on a roll with the pole after his first win in the Coke 600. And Jeff Gordon is clinging to the points lead, but will have to start from the back of the pack and make his way up to the front. It's time to go racing at the Monster Mile. There's nothing quite like it anywhere in NASCAR, and today it's race day in Dover. Let's take a look at the championship standings. After 12 of the 36 races, Jeff Gordon 44 points over Tony Stewart. Third is Kurt Busch, and Jimmy Johnson is now riding in fourth as our three-time champion.
And you know, Tony Stewart just keeps flirting with the lead. He goes, he just can't quite get there.
Ryan Newman, his teammate, is in seventh on that new Stewart-Haas racing team, and Jeff Burton is leading the Richard Childress Racing Charge in eighth. It's Kenseth, the Biff, Carl Edwards, and Mark Martin are now in the chase for the championship if we started it today, but a lot of things can change, and here's where they can change in a hurry. Reutimann, Montoya, Casey Kane, Vickers, and Clint Boyer all within striking distance, but here's the big question. Can Dale Earnhardt Jr. make it back from 203 points down?
I say leave him alone. I said it all day, and I'm going to say it. I'm not even talking about Junior in the chase.
Let him race. That's exactly what we'll do.
Let him get his team back together. Let him get organized, and let him regroup and go again. Let's just let him win some races. Let's go baby step. Let's win races again, and I think he can win races again.
Now, this weekend, Kyle Petty is filling in for Jimmy Spencer, in case you're just joining us and having a good time up here with us. But, Kyle, you're getting ready. This is kind of a warm-up for you to jump in the broadcast booth next week with TNT.
Yeah, we do. The Turner stuff starts. The TNT stuff starts with Wally and with Bill Weber, with Matt, and with Marty, with Lindsay, and with Ralph. We do all that. They're a great group, and it's a lot of fun to work with. The deal is you get to do a road course, you get to do a speedway, the restrictor plate, you get to do a flat track. You get to do a couple of ovals. So you get it's a good microcosm of what the year really is. So,
what'd you just say?
Microcosm. I got it from you earlier. You were using big words.
You know what?
Before we went on the line, you were using, on air here, you use big words, man.
I'm learning to use big words now. But, one thing about your gig at TNT is there's a variety of racetracks. I really think during the time you're going to be on TNT, we're going to find out after that really who's going to be in this championship chase.
It's going to separate some of them. It's definitely going to separate some because you got Talladega that's a wild card. You got the road course that's a wild card for a lot of these guys. I don't care what they say, it's a wild card. And then you got New Hampshire where if you miss it at New Hampshire, man, you can miss it bad there.
Now, they tell us that real men work down in the pits, and Hermie, you work in the pits all the time when you're not up here on the stage with us. Who do you got down there with you, Hermie?
Well, standing by with Matt Clark, pit crew coach for Richard Childress Racing, and wanted to first of all get your thoughts. Some say it's overdue, but a lot of work done to pit road here at Dover, and wanted to take care of your guys and make sure they're safe. Tell me your thoughts on the improvements here at the racetrack.
Well, it was really nice. I walked pit road this morning as we came in all the way from 1 down to 43. It's just done a nice job. They've done a nice job of widening it, lengthening the pit boxes. It's given the drivers a chance to get out. It's really made it nice where we've got 43 pit stalls here, so it's a great improvement to what they've had in the past.
And you guys have got a little momentum as far as the pit crews are concerned, winning the pit crew challenge during All-Star Week. A good week for you guys.
That was definitely a great week. The guys worked hard to get that done. We worked hard in the shop, hit it hard in the gym, and I went back and watched the replay there of the pit challenge, and one thing I kept hearing Hammond talk about was conditioning. So on behalf of the 31...
Jeff Hammond talking about conditioning?
Absolutely. You know, we went back and listened to that. So on behalf of the 31 Caterpillar Chevrolet, we want to invite you and Jeff to come up, spend a workout with us, a practice with us, because our guys bet that Jeff can't make it through half of one of our workouts.
So right now I'm challenging Jeff Hammond to go practice with these guys, go through a workout, and we will have footage of this coming up maybe on trackside or maybe even at Michigan. This is going to be a personal challenge for me. I need some tips, though.
Well, I'll tell you what. We're going to partner you and Jeff together, so you'll actually be able to compete right against Jeff. We'll have
head-to-head.
Head-to-head. We'll have a good day. And actually, I was talking to Christine Brown, though, our PR rep. We have an award for the winner of that deal.
Jeff Hammond, you're in for a long couple days at RCR. Back to you, JR.
Hey, but Herman, wait a minute. I've seen Hammond work out before. He might be able to do it, and if not, he'd certainly win the tanning contest.
Yeah, I was going to say, maybe, Hermie, maybe that's not conditioning. Maybe that's conditioner for his hair.
He spends more time in the tanning booth than he does in the broadcast booth. I'm not worried about it.
But now, hold on. Hermie, do we know that tan on Jeff Hammond, is that real? Or is that spray-on stuff?
Now look, when we start working that, I'm going to sweat it right off from you. It's going to be wiping that stuff right off. It's going to be awesome.
That's good.
Hammond, you know we love you, but nobody is safe here on race day. And no one's going to be safe out on that racetrack. 400 miles of beating and banging on the high bank concrete here at the Monster Mile. It's coming your way, and so are the fantasy picks. Want to talk about some fierce competition that's heating up under the summer sun. The fantasy picks here on NASCAR Race Day, built by the Home Depot. Our man, Kenna Wallace, is in the lead. Wendy, well, she's a little ways back. And look at Spence. 500 now, but we're going to reach that.
I'm picking for Spence.
You better help him out, man. Go ahead, Kenny.
Well, okay, this is the real trophy right here. But I'm going to show you what Miles the Monster is going to be holding after the race is over. My pick. To, if not win, give me a good top 5. Ladies and gentlemen, Matt, the Brat, Ken Seth.
Yeah.
Was it Wendy Venturini? Wendy, are you in second already?
I'll give you that one.
I am. I moved up to second with Ryan Newman. Second place finished last week. Who am I going with this week? Well, he's been winless in 2009. Carl Edwards. I think the Aflac Duck needed some intimidation on that cowl cover, so I put Miles the Monster along with Carl's car. Carl, I think, will get to victory lane today. He's had good top 5 stops the last 5 races here at Dover. He has yet to finish outside the top 3. I'm going to get a win and hopefully pass Kenny Wallace in just 2 more weeks.
No,
That's my guess. That's my guess. And now to our 3rd place guy. Sorry, Hermie.
Third place? Well, I'm going to fix that today. I have had a couple bad weeks, but to help me get back on track, I brought in my buddy, NFL running back for the New York Giants, Madison Hitchcock. Thanks for being here. I've had a couple of rough weeks in my fantasy racing league. I'm going to ask you to help me out a little bit. Any thoughts on who might win today?
Well, I don't know. I think maybe Elliott Sadler. I'm not sure.
All right, well, I was going to maybe think about Greg Biffle. Biff won here last fall. What do you think about the Biff?
Well, don't you have a brother that races?
Well, I do, but see, Greg Biffle won last fall.
Well, I got something for you.
Are you suggesting that I take my brother?
Absolutely.
Okay, well, I've had a little help from Madison Hitchcock, and Sorry, Biff, you got dumped for the 19 of Elliott Sadler. Go, bro. Come on, bro.
There you go, Herman. You better help out your brother out there. Madison had the exact right idea, but you know what? It's going to be Elliott's teammate, Casey Kane, who busts through this week, and he's going to be kicking the field like Miles is doing right here. Miles is doing a little dance for Casey Kane because he's going to win this thing. Got the new power pack underneath the hood, and you can't keep a great driver and a great team down for too long.
Hey, you know, Casey Kane is going to be at Macon Speedway on July 22nd. I just need to make sure everybody knows that.
All right.
Excellent,
that's
Kyle.
Good. That's good. Okay, here's where I went with. So let me put the hat over this one because that's not going to work. I went with my man, Mark Martin, okay? And he's going to be just trugging through. Here's my man, Mark Martin. Look at him. That Mark Martin actually has this body.
Hey, that's
Mark Martin actually looks like this.
He is chiseled.
He actually looks like this. So that's my man.
I'm just going to want to play with the monster for a while.
That's good.
You like moving him around.
So let's take a look at the recap. Kenny Wallace has a 17. Wendy Venturini, cousin Carl. Hermie Sadler's got his brother. And JR has the guy who's going to win. But anyway, Kyle Petty has Mark the Kid Martin. And now for a little bit more on pit strategy, let's go to Chad Knaus with our Sonoco pit strategy of the week.
As we're coming into Dover this weekend, guys, everybody's been talking about the new pit road, and it's a lot nicer than what we've had here in the past. The pit boxes are a little bit bigger, but the most important thing you can see is pit road is a lot wider. That's going to make it a lot safer for the guys on pit road, changing the tires and fueling the cars, and a lot safer for the race cars as they're trying to exit and enter pit road. It's going to be a little tricky down in turn 4, though. When you're trying to get onto pit road, where the commitment line is right in the middle of 3 and 4. Could be a little bit tricky for these guys just because of the speeds that we're carrying going around this racetrack. Now, you can go about 100 laps on a Sonoco fuel run, which once again comes into your pit strategy. It's very, very tempting to try to stay out here if you get a short caution. But the thing you got to be careful is midway through this race, you get a lot of long green flag runs and could have to actually make a green flag pit stop. So sit back, relax. We got a lot of stuff going on. It's going to be an exciting day, guys. Enjoy the show.
Chad Knaus, thank you very much. That guy knows how to get it done here at Dover. They're winners here in the past, him and Jimmy Johnson. When we come back, we're going to get you down on the starting grid where all the action is happening.
NASCAR Race Day is built by the Home Depot. Visit homedepot.com. More saving, more doing. That's the power of the Home Depot. Brought to you in part by Sprint. For more NASCAR Sprint Cup Series, go to sprint.com/speed. And by Victory, the new American motorcycle.
We are getting closer and closer to race time when David Reutimann leads us to the green flag here at the Monster Mile. We want to say a special thank you to our man Kyle Petty for coming by today and filling in for Mr. Jimmy Spencer. Did you have fun?
I just sat in the seat. I didn't fill in. Jimmy's good at this. I'm not any good at it, but I enjoyed it. Thank you guys for having me, man. Thanks for having me.
You were awesome. Well, listen, I think what's going to happen today, everybody, is you're going to see cars run low. You're going to see them run high. And maybe Matt the Brat Kenseth will slip right through the middle and get me a victory.
Now let's go down to Hermie Sadler, who's in the middle of it all on the starting grid. Hermie?
Yeah, standing by with Clint Boyer. Clint, no question, you guys have been open about working on your cars, trying to get them better. Looks like you guys have started to turn the corner this weekend so far.
Yeah, absolutely. Definitely a step in the right direction. The Hartford Chevrolet is, pleasantly good. Practice sessions went good. A little bit loose in qualifying. The sun came out, and we just it was way too loose to run that big lap. So got to come from the back a little bit, but I think our car is definitely capable of doing it. I love this racetrack, and hopefully have a good day.
Rain washed all the rubber off the racetrack again. Any concerns with this bigger, heavier car that we might have some tire concerns today?
Well, I think there is a little bit of concern. I mean, we all saw the truck race, but just going to have to get to that first pit stop, see what we got for tire wear, and then go cat go.
And they tell me today's your 40th birthday. Happy birthday.
Maybe 30th. I got 10 more years for that.
Well, hope you have a good day on your birthday. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks, buddy.
Happy birthday to Clint Boy. Let's go to Wendy.
Thank you. Jamie McMurray is just getting ready to get in these race cars. It just heated up a good 10, 20 degrees, it seems like, in the last couple hours. Sun shining. What do you expect when we get to go racing? Your car has looked good all weekend.
Yeah, it's been pretty fast. The Crown Royal 4 Fusion. We ran so good here last year and got caught up in a wreck from a lap car and unloaded with the same setup. And it's supposed to be the same tire, but all of the Roush cars struggled a little bit to get the splitter off the ground. It seems like the cars are traveling more than what we did in the past. And the tire doesn't seem to be laying into the racetrack as well as what it did last year. So I think the big story today will be getting some rubber laid in the racetrack, and hopefully NASCAR will throw these cautions soon enough that we don't have any tires blown out. It's just incredible watching the truck race yesterday that 2 or 3 guys could blow out a tire in the same lap. So got a good car though, and we'll just see what we have.
All right, good luck to Jamie McMurray. Let's head over to Hermie Sadler.
Well, standing by with Mike Skinner. Mike, a fill-in role for you again this weekend with Tommy Baldwin Racing. What have you learned about your car so far this weekend?
Well, you know, actually we rolled off the truck decent, and I think the driver didn't do a very good job of keeping up with the racetrack. The racetrack just continuously tightened up. And then last night in the truck race, it loosened back up. So it's going to be tough on the crew chiefs today to keep up with the racetrack here at Dover.
Fun racetrack to drive on, though. If your stuff is right, no better place to race.
I love this place. I love all the concrete places, though. I'm looking forward to going to Nashville with the truck and Bristol, obviously. But this is a great racetrack. I just hope that the tires hold out good for them today and the fans see a good race.
That's Mike Skinner in for Tommy Baldwin. Wendy?
Well, thank you, Hermie. We've heard a lot about that tire situation today, but before we talk about the racetrack, Jimmy, you were a king on that golf course for autism, Artie Kempner's Drive for Autism, and you took the field, didn't you?
Yeah, I wish I could say it was based on my good playing, but I have some great friends that are really good golfers. We had a great time, and we were able to win that thing, and we won it last year too, so one of the very few golf trophies that I have and we'll put up. But I'm just so proud of Artie and want to thank he and all of Fox and what they've done for us, and I look forward to a great race today.
$2.5 million raised for autism, and I got to play my very first game of golf. Thank you to my crew out there. Let's head over to Hermie.
Yeah,
first game, believe it.
Juan Pablo Montoya also played golf on Thursday, but on the racetrack, you guys have really been inching closer and closer to that win. Can you get it today?
Oh, well, so, you know, this Target Chevy's been amazing. You know, we seem to be getting better every week, run a little bit stronger. I think today is going to be hard. You know, you've seen what happened with the tires. I think tires are going to be, I think it's going to be an Indy, but you're going to have to be careful, look after them and see what happens, you know. I think we got plenty of speed. Just got to be there at the end. You know, our main focus right now is trying to make the change more than winning races. Of course, you know, if we can win races in the way, great, but you got to keep finishing every race.
It wouldn't surprise me to see him in victory lane today. Back to you, JR.
Hermie Sadler, thanks a lot, and thanks to all the drivers who spoke with us today as we get ready for the Autism Speaks 400 coming your way on Fox in just a matter of minutes. We appreciate the great crowd and the folks here at the Dover Downs International Speedway because they always take great care of us when we come by to the first state. Dale Earnhardt Jr. is the one everybody's going to be watching today, but you better watch the rest of the field as well. So we got a great 400-mile race coming your way on Fox. We'll see you in Victory Lane.